Big issue here in the Cornhusker State. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us.
A lot of us have been impacted by opioid abuse or overdose.
It's an issue that isn't going away anytime soon, and a new study shows just how deadly opioid overdoses can be. Channel 8 Eyewitness News reporter Zach Worthington has more details in our top story tonight. Zach?
Rod and Megan, for the first time on record, Americans are now more likely to die from an opioid overdose than from a motor vehicle crash. I spoke to a Lincoln doctor to find out more. The numbers are staggering. Nearly 50,000 Americans die from opioid overdoses each year, a figure that represents more than 70% of drug-related deaths annually. According to a new report from the National Safety Council, Americans are now more likely to die of an accidental opioid overdose than a car crash.
The most common reason that people accidentally die in this country is because of an accidental overdose in opioids, and it's not because patients are intending to overdose. It happens accidentally and unintentionally, and so that's the scary part about them.
Each day, more than 130 people in the United States die after overdosing on opioids. The amount of deaths has increased every year since 1999. Last year, President Trump declared the crisis a national emergency. Dr. Zock says he tries to minimize the amount of opioids he prescribes for patients as much as possible.
You may be taking the medications as prescribed, the way your provider has prescribed them for you, but things can happen such as your body's ability to clear the medications may decline, or you may mix it with something else that you're taking that may contribute to the overdose event.
Mixing with alcohol, cough medicine, or anti-anxiety medication can increase the risk of fatal complications. Opioids are best served treating patients with acute or short-term pain. Chronic pain is an area where more natural alternative methods are safer.
We have found that opioids really don't treat chronic pain very well, and so we try other things like injections or alternative medications, physical therapy, rehab, those types of treatments.
Here in Lincoln, Lancaster County Sheriff deputies started using Narcan nasal spray to treat opioid overdoses. This began last summer in an effort to save lives. As far as access goes, Dr. Zock also wants to see stricter regulations.
The amount of opioid prescriptions that are given out will decrease, which they already are, and I think to follow that will be a reduction in overdose events or even any adverse events that happen from opioids.
Efforts continue to try and curb this problem. Congress passed a bill in 2018 aimed at funding less addictive drugs and expanding access to treatment.
Zach Worthington with our top story tonight. Thank you, Zach.